Hello all. We started with byte jumps, the conditional jump what we have, right? As I said here, how the byte jump works, as I said here, it will test the bytes of data here, and depending on the condition of the byte, whether it's a success or failure, whether it's a true or false, the jump action will be taken. If the condition that is tested is true, the jump is taken. If the condition is false, the instruction after the jump is executed. It will always look for the condition which is true there. If the condition is true, then the jump is taken there, right? And if the condition is false, the instruction after the jump is executed there, right? All byte jumps are relative to the program counter, right? We started with this one, and what we have is CJNE. CJNE is compare jump not equal, right? A comma address. It will compare the contents of accumulator with the direct memory address, with the contents of the direct memory address. And if these two contents are not equal, then jump to the relative address. R stands for the relative address. So that when I say relative address, you know the range of that address there, right? And also, and if the contents of A is less than the contents of the direct memory address, if the contents of A is less than the contents of the direct memory address, the carry flag is set to 1, right? Otherwise, the carry flag is equal to 0 there. Similarly, in the second mnemonic, CJNE A comma hash N comma R address. Compare jump not equal. The contents of accumulator is compared with the immediate number, and if both the numbers are not same, are not equal, then jump to the relative address there. And if the content of accumulator is less than the what you have given it as address here, it is nothing but the immediate number. Immediate number, the carry flag is set to 1 there. The carry flag is set to 1. And similarly, CJNE RR comma hash N, right? The contents of RR register, R0 to R7 register, you can use it here, right? And the content of that register, if it is not equal to the immediate number N, what will happen there? It will jump to the relative address. And if the contents of RR is less than the immediate number, the carry flag is set to 1. Make the correction here. The carry flag is set to 1 here. Next, what we have CJNE @RP comma hash N here. Now, what it does here, it will compare the contents of the memory location which is pointed by RP register. Whatever the content you have it in RP, that will act as a memory location. It will go to that memory location, and whatever the content you have it in that memory location, that content is compared with the immediate number, and if the content is not equal, it will jump to the relative address which is specified as part of the instruction there, right? And if that content is less than the immediate number, what will happen there? It will set the carry flag to 1. It will set the carry flag to 1. This is about conditional jump. In conditional jump, what we studied is compare jump not equal, right? If you see this example for this one, compare jump not equal, what we have is move A comma hash 32H. Accumulators will be having content of 32H. Next, what I do, CJNE A comma hash 89H, right? Compare jump not equal, right? First, it will compare the contents of accumulator with the immediate number. After comparison, if the contents are not equal, it will jump to the relative address. What is the address which is given here? The label which is mentioned here as part of the instruction. Next, NEXT. It will jump to NEXT here. And also you can see that A is having content of 32. immediate number is 89H. A is less than 89H. So that the carry flag is set to 1. The carry flag is set to 1 here, right? If you, in fact, we have seen this, the usage of CJNE while writing program for finding the largest number, right? The smallest number, arranging the numbers in ascending order, arranging the numbers in descending order, right? Depending on whether the contents in A is less than or 0, remove the content in accumulator, right? Next, the next conditional jump what we have is this one, right? What it says is DJ NZ RR comma R address. What is DJ NZ? Decrement jump, no 0. Decrement the register RR by 1 and jump to the relative address if the result is not 0. And here no flags are affected for this one, right? If you see DJ NZ, decrement jump, no 0 RR. First it will decrement the contents of RR, right? How it will decrement? It will decrement by 1. Once it decrement by 1, now it will compare whether the content of RR is equal to 0 or not. If it is not 0, jump to the relative address or address here. Jump to the relative address. And for this instruction, no flags are affected here. No flags are affected. The next one more mnemonic for this one is DJNZ address comma R address, right? What to do? It will decrement the direct address by 1 and jump to the relative address if the result is not 0. No flags are affected unless the direct address is PSW here, right? Now what it says is it is a direct memory address. ADD is nothing but our direct memory address. It will decrement the direct memory address by 1 and it will compare whether that the value is equal to 0 or not. If it is not 0, jump where? Jump to the relative address or address there. And also if you see that because of this instruction, no flags are affected unless if the direct address is that of the PSW, program status word, right? Because since it is also, we studied of the 8015 programming model, we know which are the register, the special function registers we can directly mention using direct memory address there, right? And unless until it is PSW, no flags are affected here, right? What, as I said, DJNZ is the stand for decrement the contents of the register and see whether the contents of RR is equal to 0 or not. If it is not equal to 0, jump to the relative address. Similarly here for the direct address, right? We'll see this example what we have. Decrement jump, no 0. Decrement jump, no 0. What it says is move A comma hash 00 H what we have, right? So that the accumulator content is set to 0. That's what we're saying. Clear accumulator. Move R2 comma hash 10, right? Load counter R2 is equal to 10 here. In hexadecimal, as we know that the R2 will have a value of what now? Will have a value of 0AH. Since we are more used to the decimal thing, we are just mentioning R2 as 10 there. But R2 will have a value of 0AH. We know that, right? Because there is no suffix which is mentioned there, right? Next, add A comma hash 03, right? Accumulator content was before 0. Now we are adding 03 so that the accumulator will have a value of how much? 03H. 03H. Now what we do? Decrement jump no 0 R2 comma again. What it says here? First decrement the value of R2. R2 is having a value of what now? 10. Or R2 is having value of now what? 0A. That is a decimal. That is hexadecimal equivalent of 10 there, right? 0A. If I decrement that by 1, what will be the value which is stored in R2? It will have a value of what now? 0, 9. And 0, 9 is not equal to 0. Since it is not equal to 0, where it has to jump? It has to jump to relative address. What is the relative address label which is given as part of the instruction? It is given as again. It will jump to again there, right? Again add a comma hash 03. Accumulator was having a value of 03. Again you are adding 03 so that accumulator will have a value of 06 now. Again what you do, it will go to the next instruction. Decrement jump no 0. R2 value will have a 08. It will decrement by 1. It will have a value of 08. Again 08 is not equal to 0. Jump to again, that is the relative address. It will jump here. It will jump here. Again add a comma hash 03. How many times this set of instructions will be executed here? Because R2 is having a value of 0a, that is decimal 10. So that these two instruction add a comma hash 03 and this instruction will run for 10 times, right? And when the value is set to 0, when we decrement the value and R2 value is equal to 0, what will happen? Since the R2 value is 0, it will come out of this loop and right, and it will execute the next instruction, which is the next instruction we have move R5 comma a. After adding the contents 03 10 times to the accumulator, that value whatever we have it in accumulator, that will be moved to R5 register. Now if you see this one, we understand what is loop. We know that repeating a sequence of instructions a certain number of times is called a loop, right? Repeating a sequence of instruction. If you see this, the sequence of instruction, what are the instructions we have? Add a comma hash 03 and this one. These two instructions are executed how many times here? Since the R2 value is set it as 10 here, right? This set of instructions are executed 10 times and this is, we call it as a loop. Repeating a sequence of instruction a certain number of times is called a loop here, right? Now if the same example, if right, we can say a loop can be repeated a maximum of 255 times if R2 is equal to FFH, because we know the decimal equivalent FFH will be 255 times what we have, 255 in decimal. So that if R2 value is set to FFH, what will happen here? The addition will be performed how many times now here? 255 times here, right? Or else this set of instructions are executed 255 times here. Depending on the value what we give it here, the number of times the loop is executed depends, right? Yeah, this is about the decrement jump no 0, how this could be used here, right? And also if you see the programs what we return, right, we've used decrement jump no 0 to set the counter, because if you see whenever we wanted to count the number of ones and 0 in a given 8-bit number, we set the counter as 0 8 there, right? And we went on decrementing the value of that. We decremented and we compared with 0 whether it is equal to 0 or not. If it is not 0, again go and see the next bit whether that bit is 1 or 0 there, right? If you see one more example on decrement jump no 0 here. Now if you see that what we have done is, right, if we see in the previous example, if I set the R2 value as FFH, the loop was executing 255 times there. But if I want to use, right, if I want to have to execute this loop more than 255 times, or 250, 0 to 255, right? That's what it says, right? Now what you do there now? What you do there? 256 times, more than 256 times. Here we use something called as a nested loop, so that we set two counters now. We keep it as two counters for this one. What we do is move a comma hash 55h, so that accumulator is having a value of 55h. Move R3 comma hash 10. R3 is having a value of 10 there, right? Next, what we move R2 comma hash 70, right? It is, if you see this, why I've given this is 70 is decimal, and this is again decimal 10 what we have it. Now a complement accumulator, CPL A, complement the contents of accumulator, right? Before it was 55 and complement that value and store that value into accumulator. Then here what I'm doing, decrement jump no 0 R2 comma, again what it says, first decrement the value of R2, right? If I decrement the value of R2, it will be 69. We'll consider that as a decimal, and here the hexadecimal equivalent will be stored in R2. We know that, right? Since we are used to decimal this thing, I'm just taking the value what will be stored in R2 will be 69 there, right? Since 69 is not equal to 0, you go to again and again complement the contents of accumulator, right? Again it will come decrement jump no 0 R2. What is the value we had? R2 was 69. Decrement by 1, it will be 68, right? And 68 is not equal to 0. Again go here, right? Continue that loop, execute the same set of instructions. How many times this set of instructions will be executed here now? 70 times, right? That's the reason we have given it as decimal, so that we can easily understand how many times this loop has executed. The set of instructions are executed. The set of instructions executed is 70 times. Next, again what we have, decrement jump no 0 R3. R3 is having a value of 10. If I decrement that one, the value will be 9, and 9 is not equal to 0. You say where it has to jump now? It has to jump to the label next. Where is the label next? Here. Move R2 comma hash 70h. If you see this one, what is happening is that if I use only R2 hash 70 here, this set of instructions were executing only for 70 times, right? Since we have nested loop here, right? Now what is happening? This is 10 times here, right? And this loop will be executed till the R3 value becomes 0, and this loop will be executed till R2 value becomes 70. So that totally how many times this set of instructions will be executed then now, right? If you see this one, it is 700 times, right? 700 times this set of instructions will be executed, right? So that what we made, because of the usage of the nested loop, I had setting 2 counters here and decrementing those counts. We made sure that the number of times the instruction need to be executed has increased from 255 to around 700 times now, right? Normally we can use this one for writing the loop. Maybe we have a program where the microcontroller or my embedded system is waiting for some event. It is waiting for some event, right? So we can write depending on how much time is required for the event to take place. You can write you the loop there. You can write the loop so that the microcontroller will be executing this set of instruction, right? And whenever the counter is 0, what will do? It will go to the next instruction, where it will be ready to receive it is ready to receive for the event, right? You can have a delay function which is written with the help of this nested loop or the loop. We can write a delay function also. How much delay is required? Depending on the delay which is required, put the respective number there, and you can have that much of delay, right? And counters, right? You can do there, right? I'm just explaining about the instruction, how the instructions are working, right? In fact, we have seen in parallel, we are seeing the examples of the program also, and how we are using these instructions in the program in order to accomplish our task there, right? Next, conditional jumps, what we have is byte jumps. What we have, J, Z, R, address. What it says is jump 0. If you see here, what it is checking for is, it is checking for the contents of the accumulator. Is whether the contents of accumulator is 0 or not. If it is 0, then jump to the relative address. Jump to the relative address if the contents of accumulator is 0. The flags and the accumulator register are not changed. It means it will not change the contents of accumulator. It will just see whether the content of accumulator is 0 or not. If it is 0, jump to the relative address there, right? Similarly, what we have, jump no 0 R address. It will now again for this instruction, it will compare the contents of the accumulator only, right? It will compare the contents of accumulator only, right? If the contents of accumulator is 0, is not equal to 0, then only jump to the relative address R address there, right? That's what it says. Jump to the relative address if A is not 0. The flags and the A register are not changed here, right? Here, if you see with the example for jump 0 here, if you see this instructions what we have, right? Here it was decrement jump no 0, right? It was looking for the contents of R2 here. It was looking for the content of R3 here, right? Here again it is decrement R2. It was looking for the contents of R2 here, right? If you see the previous example also what we had, it was looking for the contents of accumulator here. We had accumulator, we had R0 to R7 register, and also we had the address there, and also we had the contents, the indirect address here. But when it comes to jump 0 and jump no 0 here, what we have, it will always compare the contents of accumulator and it will check whether the content of accumulator is 0 or not 0. If it is 0, it will jump to the R address, and if the contents of accumulator is not 0, jump to the R address here, right? It will not compare for any other, it will not look for the contents of any other register or the direct memory there. It will look only for the contents of accumulator there, right? We'll see an example for jump 0. Move A comma R0, maybe whatever may be the content of R0, that is move to the accumulator, jump 0 over. Now when I say jump 0 over, if you see that here it is implicit, it will jump 0 means it will compare, it will see the contents of accumulator, and if the contents of accumulator is 0 or not. If the contents of accumulator is 0, right? If it is 0, then only perform the jump. Where it has to jump now, the label which is mentioned in the instruction, it has to jump to over. Where is over here? It will go to over there, right? It will jump to over, right? Next, move A comma R1. Move A comma R1 there, right? Now if you see this one, if you see when I say over here, normally what will happen, this is assembly code, the pseudo assembly code, what we have it in front of us, right? When we write this program and run it, right, in the code memory, all these instructions are replaced with an upcode, what we have, upcode, and these are, all these labels are replaced with a number there, so that the processor knows how to calculate the relative address there, right? JZ over, it will go to there if the content of accumulator is 0. Next, what I do, move A comma R1. Again, it will compare the contents of accumulator. If it is 0, go to over. If it is not 0, what it will do, it will go to the next instruction, and whatever the next instruction is written here, that will be executed by the processor there, right? Jump 0. When I say jump 0, it will compare the contents of accumulator. If the content of accumulator is 0, then only perform the jump operation. Next, what we have, jump no 0. Move R5 comma hash 00 H. Move A comma R5, so that accumulator will have a value of 00 H. Now jump no 0 next. Since accumulator value content is equal to 00 H, what will happen here? Since accumulator content is equal to 0, what will happen? Since jump no 0, right? If the content of accumulator is not 0, then only perform the jump operation, right? But the accumulator content is 0. So that what it will do, it will go to the next instruction after the jump. What is the next instruction we have? Move R5 comma hash 55 H. After executing, maybe it will proceed with the next instruction. Jump 0, jump no 0. As I said here, the jump 0 and jump no 0 can be used only for register A, not any other registers. You cannot use any other register. The accumulator register is implicit here. It will always compare the contents of accumulator for 0 or not 0. Right? This is about the byte level conditional jumps. Right? Next, what we have is the conditional jumps which are related to the bits. Right? What are the bits we have? Right? The bit what we use is a carry flag, whether the carry flag is set or not. Right? And also any other bit addressable location. We'll look for all those things. Any bit addressable location and also for the carry flag. It's only the carry flag what we see it. And here are the list of mnemonics what we have. Jump, carry, relative address. Right? What it says, jump relative address. Jump relative if the carry flag is set to 1. Here it will come. It will look whether the carry flag is set. If the carry flag is set, it will jump to the relative address, the label which is mentioned as part of the instruction. It will jump to the relative address. Jump no carry. If there is no carry, jump to the relative address. Jump to the relative address. That's what I mentioned here. Jump relative if the carry flag is reset to 0. Next, what is the jump JB B comma relative address. What is this one? This is bit. Any bit addressable locations, right? Any bit addressable locations what we have. Whatever bit you have mentioned, if that bit is set, then jump to the relative address there. Then jump to the relative address there. Next, what we have, JNB B comma R address. Right? Whatever the bit you have mentioned there here, right? Bit mentioned, if that bit is not set, right? If that bit is equal to 0, then only jump to the relative address R address there. Next, what we have, JBC B comma R address. What it does is jump relative if addressable bit is set and clear the addressable bit to 0. First, we will see whether the bit is set or not. Right? If the bit is set, what it will do? It will jump to the relative address, and also what it will do? It will make sure that that bit is also reset to 0. Right? And normally, if you see that most of things in microcontroller are controlling applications, what we do, we set on or off. Right? Whether the lights is on or whether the motor is on or off there. What we use is, instead of using a byte, we use only one bit. Right? And we'll check for that bit whether that bit is set or not. Right? If it is off, what you do that? Now we check for that bit whether that bit is set or not. Right? And if that bit is, what you do that? Maybe if that bit is set, maybe you need to off it. What you do that? Again, what you do? You set that bit there. You compare with the jump no bit, whether the bit is off or not, whether if the bit is set or whether the bit is off. What you do in the next instruction, what you do, set B there, so that you set that bit on, so that if the lights are off, you make sure that the lights are on there. Right? This is how you use these bit addressable instructions, the jump, which are related to the for setting and resetting the bits here. Right? Okay, this is about the conditional jumps which are dependent on the bits. As you see, as I said here, we look for only the carry flag and any other bit addressable locations. Right? We are not looking at auxiliary carry, not the parity flag or the what are the overflow flag here. What the jump what we have is only dependent on the carry flag. We have instructions only which look for the carry flag here. Right? We'll see this example. Right? How jump no carry, right? What we have is move a comma hash 00h, move r5 comma a, the content of accumulator is moved into r5, right? So that you clear r5 because accumulator is 0, r5 will have a value of 00. Add a comma hash 79h, so that accumulator will have a value of 79h. Jump no carry n1. Now what happens when you perform the addition? What is happening is, if it is greater than 8 bits, if the addition is greater than 8 bits, what will happen? It will generate the carry there, right? Now what is the resultant of 0 plus 79? It is 79h. So that it's not greater, what will happen here? The carry flag will be 0, right? Since it is carry, what it says, jump no carry n1. Since there is no carry which is generated here, it will jump to the location n1. Where we have n1, n1 is mentioned here. Add a comma hash 0fi h, right? Now it will add with the contents of 0fi h, right? Now what will happen here? Now the resultant is greater than, the resultant sum is greater than 8 bits what we have. It will have 6e here, so that the carry flag is set to 1. The carry flag is set to 1. Now what we have instruction JNC N2, jump no carry. Now here jump no carry, what will happen? To look for the carry flag. As you can see here, because of the addition, the carry flag is set to 1 here, right? When I say jump no carry, since the carry flag is 1, this will perform the jump only if the carry flag is equal to 0, right? But as of now, the carry flag is 1. So whatever, it will not jump to n2, it will go to the next instruction. Which is the next instruction we have? Increment r5. Before, you can see here, r5 is having a value of 0, 0. Now, since we are performing increment r5, r5 value will be incremented by 1, so that r5 will have a value of 1 there, right? Next, what we have, add a comma hash 0e to h here. Again, you are adding the contents. We have accumulator has the content of 6e plus a2, which is equal to 15. And also because of the addition of these two 8 bits, the carry flag is set to 1 here, right? Since the carry flag is set here, what will happen? It will not perform the jump because the carry flag is equal to 1 here. It will go to the next instruction. What is the next instruction we have? Increment r5, right? Right now, what will increment r5? So that r5 will have a value of how much now? Will have a value of 0, 2, right? Will have a value of 0, 2 there, right? This is about the usage of instruction. Here we understood how the instructions are used, how the instructions are working, right? And also, as I said here, we have used all these instructions as part of an assembly language program for a data transfer move instructions, data transfer programs, right? For arithmetic programs and also for Boolean logical instructions, we have used the most of the jump instructions what we discussed here, right? It may be byte or the bit jumps. And also we use the unconditional jump. And one unconditional jump what we use is SJMP. That is the most common what we use it in each of the programs there, right? In the next class, we'll study about the subroutine. We'll understand what is subroutine, interrupt service routine, and about the call and return instructions in the next class. Thank you.